It's early morning and the world is just beginning to stir. Maybe you're sitting by the window with a warm cup of tea watching the light filter through the trees or enjoying a quiet breakfast while the day gently unfolds. These peaceful moments often bring reflection on the past, on health, and on the little things that shape how we feel each day. Have you ever noticed how your body speaks to you in subtle ways? A bit more stiffness in your knees, a slower walk to the mailbox, or simply feeling like your energy isn't quite what it used to be. These gentle changes are part of the journey, and sometimes they're our body's quiet way of asking for attention. Today we're going to talk about something a little surprising: how certain vegetables, even the ones you've trusted for years, might not be supporting your joints and energy the way you thought. And more importantly, we'll share what you can eat to feel more vibrant and steady as the years unfold. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness, choice, and compassion for ourselves as we age. At the heart of senior wellness, we believe that growing older is not about limitations. It's about learning how to care for our bodies with kindness and wisdom. So if you're looking for thoughtful insights and gentle guidance to support your health, this moment is just for you. Let's take it one peaceful step at a time. Sometimes the most comforting routines are the ones we question the least. Maybe you've spent a lifetime believing that a plate full of vegetables is always a healthy choice, and in many ways that's still true. But as the years go by and our bodies shift in quiet, subtle ways, what once worked perfectly may no longer be the best fit. Imagine you're walking through your neighborhood farmer's market on a crisp Saturday morning. The stands are overflowing with vibrant tomatoes, glossy eggplants, and colorful bell peppers, staples in many of our favorite home-cooked meals. These vegetables are celebrated for their flavor and versatility. But what if for some older adults they quietly contribute to discomfort rather than wellness? After the age of 60, our bodies often respond differently to certain foods. It's not about developing allergies or severe reactions. It's more about sensitivity, about how our systems slow down and process things in new ways. Some vegetables, like those in the nightshade family, such as tomatoes, eggplants, and bell peppers, contain natural compounds that may aggravate inflammation or cause discomfort in joints for certain individuals. This isn't a warning to fear your food. It's simply a gentle reminder to stay curious about how your body feels after a meal. If a simple dish of tomato soup leaves you feeling achy or stiff, later that evening as you relax in your favorite chair on the porch, it might be worth paying attention. In the spirit of senior wellness, we believe that wisdom comes from noticing these small signals, not with worry, but with compassion. Sometimes it's not about removing these foods entirely, but exploring how often they appear on your plate and whether they're still serving your well-being. Think about your daily life. The quiet garden you tend behind your house, the laughter around the kitchen table when family visits, or the walks you take around the block just before sunset. These simple joys feel better when your body moves freely and your joints aren't stiff or sore. That's why it can be helpful to reflect on how certain ingredients make you feel, not based on what you've always believed, but based on what your body is telling you now. At the same time, it's important to remember that everyone's experience is different. What affects one person may not affect another at all. So if you're unsure, or if you've been noticing consistent changes in how your body responds to certain meals, having a conversation with your doctor can bring clarity and peace of mind. No assumptions, no panic, just thoughtful observation and personalized care. In this season of life, we're not just eating to fuel our day, we're eating to support comfort, movement, and joy. Through gentle awareness and a willingness to adapt, we can continue making choices that honor both tradition and the changing needs of our bodies. That's what senior health tips are all about, not rules or restrictions, but understanding and empowerment. Because here in the world of senior living, every bite should support a life that feels good to live. As we get older, it's amazing how much we begin to notice the quiet shifts in our bodies. Maybe it's during an afternoon on the porch as the breeze moves through the trees, or when you're standing in your garden and realize your legs feel a little heavier than they used to. These moments are gentle reminders, our body's way of speaking in subtle, steady tones. One of the changes many older adults experience is slower circulation. You might not even realize it at first. It could be something as simple as your hands or feet feeling colder, or your legs tiring more quickly during a walk through the park. Over time, reduced blood flow can make it harder for your body to deliver nutrients where they're needed most. Alongside this, a quiet companion often shows up: inflammation. Unlike the kind of swelling that comes with a sprained ankle, this kind is more internal, more ongoing. It may not shout for your attention, but it's there, adding tension to your joints, leaving you feeling a little more sluggish or making recovery from activity take a bit longer. But here's the good news. Awareness is powerful. Noticing how your body feels after certain meals during movement or while resting gives you a sense of connection. That's what senior wellness is really about, paying attention with kindness, not criticism. You may find that inflammation tends to increase with age, not because you've done something wrong, but simply because the body's systems have been working hard for a long time. It's like the way an old garden hose doesn't deliver water as smoothly as it used to. The pressure builds up and things take longer to move through. That's why many older adults start to reevaluate the foods they eat and the habits they keep. Simple changes, like gentle movement, staying hydrated, or choosing foods known to support circulation, can help your body feel more at ease. Of course, what works for one person may not work the same way for another. That's why we always recommend speaking with a doctor or health professional who understands your unique needs. Even something as peaceful as sitting under a tree with a friend, sharing stories at the local senior center, or walking slowly through a Sunday farmer's market becomes more enjoyable when your body feels less inflamed and more supported. In those moments, you're not thinking about what hurts, you're thinking about how alive you feel. Here in the world of senior living, growing older doesn't mean giving up vitality. It means learning how to move with it, how to adjust, reflect, and find new ways to feel comfortable in your own skin. And with thoughtful senior health tips and the support of a community that cares, you don't have to figure it all out alone. You simply need to listen gently to what your body is saying and know that there's always something you can do to feel just a little bit better, one step at a time. It's funny how certain foods stay with us through the years. Flavors from family dinners, backyard barbecues, or summer afternoons spent picking fresh produce at the farmer's market. For many of us, tomatoes, bell peppers, and eggplants have been a part of that story. They add color, flavor, and comfort to so many beloved meals. But as we age, sometimes even the most familiar ingredients deserve a second look. You might notice after a bowl of tomato-based soup or a hearty pasta dish topped with marinara that your joints feel a little stiffer. Or maybe after a grilled veggie platter with bell peppers and eggplant, your knees ache a bit more during your evening stroll around the block. These small moments, ones that might seem unrelated, can actually be your body offering gentle feedback. The vegetables we're talking about here, tomatoes, bell peppers, and eggplants, all belong to a group called nightshades. While they're nutritious, in many ways they also contain a compound called solanine. For some older adults, solanine may aggravate inflammation, particularly in the joints or areas with poor circulation. It doesn't affect everyone the same way, but it's something worth being mindful of, especially if you've been feeling more discomfort after meals that include these foods. That's the beauty of senior wellness. It's not about strict diets or dramatic changes. It's about learning to tune in to recognize how our bodies respond and to make gentle adjustments that support comfort and mobility. And sometimes that simply means rotating certain ingredients or enjoying them in smaller amounts rather than cutting them out completely. You might still enjoy your favorite tomato sandwich on a warm afternoon, or the taste of grilled eggplant at a weekend cookout. But if you've noticed a pattern, if these meals are followed by aches that didn't used to be there, it may be helpful to reflect. Keep a small journal, chat with your doctor, or try a few days without those ingredients and see how you feel. No pressure, no judgment, just awareness. Out on the back porch as the sun begins to dip and the air cools, it's a good time to think about how the food we've always loved can still be part of our lives, just in ways that work better for where we are now. The goal isn't to restrict joy, but to support well-being. Because here in the world of senior living, each decision we make, each meal, each step, is about honoring the body that has carried us this far. And with thoughtful guidance, whether through personal observation or trusted senior health tips, we can continue to enjoy meals that nourish not only our bodies, but also our memories and our connection to the life we love. So the next time you're planning dinner, listen in. Your body may have a quiet suggestion, and that kind of wisdom is always worth hearing. Sometimes it's the smallest things that make the biggest difference. A cool breeze on the porch in the late afternoon, the warmth of the sun on your back, while tending to the flowers, or even the comfort of slipping into your favorite walking shoes before a morning stroll. We notice details more with time, and that includes the small ways our bodies react to what we eat. One of those subtle reactions can involve the joints or the limbs, the places we rely on most to keep us steady and active. Maybe you've started to feel a dull ache in your knees after dinner, or a stiffness in your fingers as you water the garden. And while those sensations can come from many causes, they may also be linked to what's going on inside the tiniest blood vessels in your body. Some vegetables, particularly those in the nightshade family like tomatoes, eggplants, and bell peppers, contain a natural substance called solanine. For some older adults, solanine may affect the health of the microvessels, or tiny blood vessels that supply the joints and limbs. When these vessels are irritated or inflamed, it can lead to discomfort that feels deeper than surface-level aches. This doesn't mean these vegetables are bad. In fact, many people eat them with no trouble at all. But if you've been experiencing unexplained soreness, especially in your knees, ankles, or hands, it may be worth paying attention. At Senior Wellness, we believe that your body often whispers before it speaks up, and those whispers are worth listening to. Imagine those tiny blood vessels, like garden hoses stretched across your yard. Over time, if the water inside carries particles that irritate the lining, the hoses start to stiffen, leak, or slow down. The same can happen inside our bodies when certain compounds like solanine trigger a reaction. For some, this means a bit more joint stiffness after meals rich in nightshades. For others, it may not cause any issues at all. What matters most is recognizing your own pattern. Maybe it's after chili night, or a tomato-heavy pasta dish. Maybe it's the roasted peppers at the summer potluck. If you start to notice a connection, gently make note of it and consider bringing it up with your doctor. Personalized guidance is one of the most powerful tools in senior health tips. In the world of senior living, awareness isn't about restriction, it's about balance. It's about honoring how far your body has brought you and choosing what helps you feel your best moving forward. So as you enjoy your quiet moments, rocking gently on the porch swing, flipping through recipe cards, passed down through the years, or picking produce at your local market, remember a little curiosity about how foods make you feel can go a long way in supporting your comfort and independence. Because here at Senior Wellness, we believe that health isn't about perfection. It's about paying attention, asking questions, and finding peace in the choices that serve you well. There's something comforting about familiar recipes, those tried and true meals we've made for decades. Maybe it's a rich tomato stew simmering on the stove, or a casserole sprinkled with slices of bell pepper. These dishes often hold memories. Sunday dinners with the family, backyard barbecues in the summertime, or quiet evenings with leftovers and a good book. But over time, you may begin to notice that those same meals don't leave you feeling quite as light or limber as they once did. Perhaps there's a lingering soreness in your joints the next morning, or a feeling of heaviness in your knees as you tend to the flowers out back. These small signs can be the body's gentle way of suggesting it needs something different. Some vegetables, especially those in the nightshade family, like tomatoes, eggplants, and bell peppers, contain compounds that, for certain individuals, may trigger inflammation. And when these foods become regular guests on the dinner table, they might contribute to joint discomfort over time. It doesn't mean they're harmful for everyone, but it's a reminder that each body is unique and worth listening to. At Senior Wellness, we often hear stories from older adults who began noticing a connection between their meals and how their joints felt the next day. It might start as a faint stiffness when standing up from your favorite chair on the porch, or a slower walk through the grocery store aisles. For some, it becomes clear that meals heavy in nightshades tend to bring on these sensations more often. The science behind it involves natural chemicals like solanine that are found in nightshades. In some people, these compounds may irritate tissues or contribute to inflammation, particularly in joints that have already seen decades of wear and tear. Again, this doesn't happen to everyone, but if you've noticed a pattern, it might be worth exploring. What's most important is how you feel, how your body responds, and how your daily comfort is affected. And that's where senior health tips come in. Not as strict rules, but as friendly guidance to help you make choices that support ease and movement. There's no need to give up favorite dishes entirely. Sometimes just reducing how often these ingredients show up on your plate makes a difference. Maybe you swap out bell peppers for zucchini, or try a beet-based pasta sauce instead of tomato. The beauty of aging is that we get to be more mindful, more intentional, and often more creative in how we care for ourselves. So next time you're enjoying your garden or chatting with neighbors at the farmer's market, remember the foods you choose can quietly shape how you feel each day. And with small changes, you might discover a little more comfort in your steps, a little more ease in your mornings. Because here in the heart of senior living, your well-being matters deeply. And through the gentle lens of senior wellness, even familiar habits can evolve into new sources of energy, clarity, and care. There's something familiar and grounding about the rhythm of daily life, watering the garden in the morning, picking up the mail, or heading upstairs to put away the laundry. These small motions, done so many times over the years, often become second nature. But every now and then, a simple task like climbing the stairs can suddenly feel more difficult than it used to. Maybe you've noticed it too. The tightness in your knees halfway up, that dull ache in your calves when you reach the top, or the way you pause before taking that first step just to gather your energy. These moments may seem small at first, easy to brush off as just getting older, but sometimes they're your body's quiet way of saying something's changed. At Senior Wellness, we believe that paying attention to these subtle signs is a form of self-respect, not worry. A recurring sense of discomfort when climbing stairs, especially if it feels new, frequent, or more intense, may point to something beneath the surface. It might be your joints asking for less inflammation, your muscles asking for better support, or your circulation simply needing a little boost. Of course, stair climbing is no easy feat. It requires coordination, strength, flexibility, and steady blood flow. When one of those systems isn't functioning at its best, you may feel it in the form of fatigue, soreness, or stiffness. And while this doesn't always mean something serious, it's worth noticing, especially if it's becoming part of your routine. You might reflect on this during a quiet afternoon, on the porch sipping iced tea and feeling that lingering ache from earlier in the day, or while chatting with a neighbor at the farmer's market who mentions they've also been feeling it in the knees. These are the kinds of conversations, honest, reflective, and grounded in daily life, that help us connect the dots. Here's where senior health tips can gently guide us. If certain movements are beginning to feel like more of a challenge than they used to, it might be time to look at your diet, your activity levels, or even the type of shoes you're wearing. Most importantly, it's okay to bring these concerns to your doctor. A quick conversation can bring insight and peace of mind. The goal always is to feel strong and steady in the life you love. Whether that means being able to take the stairs with ease, tend to the back garden without hesitation, or join in a walk around the neighborhood with friends. These aren't luxuries. They're everyday freedoms that matter deeply in the world of senior living. And the more we tune in to what our bodies are telling us, the more empowered we become to support them with care, with curiosity, and with confidence. That's what senior wellness is all about, recognizing the signals, honoring the journey, and moving forward one thoughtful step at a time. As we grow older, our relationship with food often becomes more thoughtful. It's no longer just about eating what tastes good. It's about what makes us feel good afterward. Maybe you've noticed that some meals leave you feeling light and energized, while others leave your joints aching or your body feeling off balance. These quiet signals matter more than ever now. That doesn't mean we have to give up the foods we love. For many of us, vegetables have always been a part of our table, fresh from the garden, simmered in soups, tossed in salads. And they still can be. But with age, it becomes important to choose the types of vegetables that truly support how our body functions today, not how it used to decades ago. The key is not restriction, it's selection. Instead of cutting out vegetables altogether out of fear or confusion, think of it as a gentle shift toward ingredients that help you feel more steady, less inflamed, and more vibrant in your daily life. That's what senior wellness is all about, making choices that reflect both tradition and wisdom. You might find joy in strolling through your local farmer's market basket in hand, picking up dark leafy greens like kale and spinach. These vegetables are rich in nutrients that support circulation, joint health, and energy. Or perhaps you'll reach for broccoli and Brussels sprouts, vegetables known for their antioxidant properties and subtle anti-inflammatory benefits. A quiet afternoon in your backyard garden can be a reminder of how nourishing it feels to grow and eat foods that truly support you. Planting Swiss chard, tending to beets, or harvesting cabbage in the fall aren't just satisfying tasks, they're acts of care for your future self. Of course, every person is different. What feels good to one body may not feel the same to another. That's why gentle observation is so important. Notice how you feel after different meals. Talk to your doctor or nutritionist if something doesn't sit right. These reflections are at the heart of meaningful senior health tips rooted in kindness, not rules. And it's okay to make changes slowly. Maybe you add more greens to your sandwich or switch tomato-heavy sauces for vegetable-based alternatives. These aren't dramatic shifts, they're mindful steps toward feeling more comfortable in your own skin. In the world of senior living, feeling well isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing what helps you walk with ease. Rest peacefully and enjoy the little pleasures, whether that's cooking a meal for loved ones, walking through the park, or just spending time on the porch with a cool breeze and a full heart. So the next time you plan your meals, don't feel pressured to eliminate, feel empowered to choose. The vegetables you eat can still be a beautiful part of your day. With the right choices, they can nourish not just your body, but your peace of mind as well. Some of the best things in life come from the simplest places, a homemade meal in a warm kitchen, the scent of onions sizzling in a pan, or the quiet joy of picking herbs from a backyard garden. These moments often carry more than just comfort. They carry wisdom passed down through generations, like the understanding that some foods do more than just feed us. They help us feel well. As we grow older, our bodies become more sensitive to what we put into them. And while that might sound like a challenge, it's actually an opportunity, a chance to lean into foods that gently support us from the inside out. One group of vegetables that often goes overlooked, but quietly does a lot of good, are those rich in sulfur like garlic onions and leeks. You've probably cooked with these for years. Maybe garlic is the first thing you toss into a pan before making soup. Maybe a chopped onion finds its way into nearly every dinner you prepare. These flavorful staples do more than add depth to meals, they support the body's natural detox process and may help ease inflammation. That's because sulfur-containing vegetables help activate compounds in the liver that play a key role in breaking down and removing waste from the body. As we age, our detox systems may not be as efficient as they once were, which makes these foods even more valuable in our daily meals. And here at Senior Wellness, we see these small additions as powerful tools for feeling clearer, lighter, and more in balance. You don't have to make it complicated. A warm bowl of chicken soup with garlic and leeks or a Sunday roast seasoned with sweet yellow onions can be both comforting and beneficial. These ingredients don't require fancy recipes, they just need a bit of intention. And often they're already in your kitchen, ready to be appreciated not just for their taste, but for their gentle support. If you enjoy growing your own food, you might even consider adding garlic or green onions to a sunny patch in your garden. Watching them sprout, grow, and eventually make their way into your meals is a beautiful reminder of how life continues to nourish us, season after season. Of course, every person's body is unique. If you're curious about how these foods may benefit you, or if you have specific concerns, it's always a good idea to talk with your doctor. That's what senior health tips are truly about, not telling you what to do, but helping you notice, reflect, and make choices with care. In the quiet rhythms of senior living, wellness isn't built on big changes, it's found in thoughtful habits. A little garlic here, a few leeks there. Small things that over time can help you feel a bit more vibrant, a bit more resilient, and a lot more in tune with the life you love. Because the journey of senior wellness is about more than avoiding illness. It's about embracing what helps you thrive, with comfort, flavor, and wisdom in every bite. Some days you can feel it before you even finish your morning coffee. That sense of tired legs, a little heaviness in the arms, or just not quite having the energy you used to. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's as subtle as choosing the elevator instead of the stairs, or skipping a walk around the block because your body feels slower than your spirit. That's when small choices can make a big difference, especially the foods we welcome into our kitchens. One of those unsung heroes often overlooked in the produce aisle is the humble beet. Deep in color, earthy in flavor, and rich in natural goodness, beets offer more than just a splash of purple on your plate. They may help support healthy circulation and gently boost your energy, especially in the golden years. As we age, our circulation tends to slow down. You might notice your hands and feet feel colder, or that it takes longer to recover from even a short walk through the garden or around the local fairgrounds. Beets contain natural nitrates, which the body can convert into nitric oxide, something that may help blood vessels relax and open up, improving blood flow throughout the body. Here at Senior Wellness, we see that as a small but meaningful way to support your vitality. Imagine adding roasted beets to a salad on a sunny afternoon out on the porch, or blending them into a smoothie before heading to the farmer's market. These simple additions don't require big changes, just a little curiosity about what might make you feel stronger, steadier, and more refreshed. Many older adults find that adding beets, even in small portions, makes a gentle difference in their daily energy. That afternoon slump may feel less pronounced. Your steps might feel a bit lighter when you're walking out to check the mailbox, or sweeping the leaves off the front walk. It's these little improvements that build up into a life that feels just a bit easier, more free. And the best part, beets are incredibly versatile. Whether you enjoy them, roasted, pickled, steamed, or blended, they fit easily into many meals without much effort. Some even like sipping beet juice in the morning as a gentle start to the day. Of course, as with anything, it's always a good idea to talk with your doctor, especially if you have health concerns or dietary needs. Thoughtful guidance is a core part of every senior health tip. The beauty of senior living is that we get to rediscover what truly works for us without pressure, without perfection. Just quiet adjustments that help us feel more like ourselves. So the next time you walk through the produce section or admire your neighbor's garden, take a second look at those ruby red beets. They might not be flashy, but they carry strength, warmth, and nourishment that meets you exactly where you are. And in the world of senior wellness, that's exactly the kind of support that matters most. There's something about a slow afternoon on the porch, the breeze carrying the scent of blooming flowers, the sound of birds in the trees, and the comfort of knowing you've earned a little rest. It's in these quiet moments that many of us begin to reflect more deeply on how we feel each day. Is it still easy to move around the house? Do the knees feel steady? Is the mind staying sharp and focused? The answers often start in the simplest of places on our plates. As we age, the connection between what we eat and how we move or think becomes even more important. And while vegetables have always been celebrated for their health benefits, choosing the right vegetables after 60 can make a meaningful difference in how your body and mind feel from day to day. Not all veggies affect us the same way. Some may cause inflammation, making joints feel tight or stiff. Others, however, are like quiet healers, rich in nutrients that support joint strength, leg flexibility, and even brain clarity. That's what senior wellness is truly about, understanding what nourishes you now in this chapter of life. Think of leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. These vegetables are packed with vitamins that may support both joint tissue and brain function. Add in vibrant options like beets or broccoli, and you've got a plate full of color and possibility. It's not just about variety, it's about intention. You might notice the difference after a few days of thoughtful eating. Walking through the garden feels easier. Kneeling to pull weeds isn't as uncomfortable. Your mind feels more present when chatting with friends at the senior center or flipping through old photo albums. These are the quiet wins of choosing foods that love you back. Of course, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Everyone's body responds differently, and what energizes one person may not do the same for another. That's why listening to your body and, when needed, talking with your doctor is such an important part of senior health tips. Your comfort, clarity, and confidence are worth the conversation. This isn't about rules or restriction. It's about empowerment, about creating meals that support your independence, your ease of movement, and your ability to fully enjoy the life you've built. Whether that's walking through a local craft fair, planting tomatoes in the backyard, or simply dancing in the kitchen with your grandkids. And in the beautiful rhythm of senior living, that kind of freedom is the goal, not just for your legs or your joints, but for your mind and spirit too. Each choice we make, each bite we take, is another way of saying yes to the life we still want to live, strong, steady, and deeply connected. Because here in the world of senior wellness, it's never too late to nourish your body with kindness and intention, and feel the difference one step and one meal at a time. As we move through the seasons of life, it's comforting to know that even the smallest choices, like what we put on our plates, can bring renewed strength, clarity, and ease. Each thoughtful step you take to care for your body is also an act of kindness toward your future self. You're not chasing perfection. You're embracing what helps you feel more grounded, more vibrant, and more at peace. So take heart. You're doing better than you think. Your journey is still unfolding with meaning, and there's so much beauty in honoring where you are right now. In this chapter of senior living, may your days be filled with steady steps, nourishing meals, and a deeper trust in your own wisdom. And remember, through the gentle rhythm of senior wellness, you're never walking this path alone. You've got this, and you're worth every moment of care.